Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So I'm uploading this one around 11 a.m. and I'm home because I'm sick, so yay. But really this video is just going to be President Trump as if he ran as a Democrat in 2016 versus Hillary Clinton as a Republican. I just wanted to do this matchup just to see how the demographics would change on an entire scale across the United States. Um, Personally, I do think that if this did happen, I think that not many states would change, especially with who they voted for. I think that the Republican Party would have backed up Hillary if she was the nominee. Let's just say she was and she had a Republican platform rather than a liberal platform. I think they would have backed up her on Benghazi and the email scandal. Whereas for President Trump, I think the Republican Party would attack him more. Um, I think that both sides hid things from the general public and they tried to make their candidates look better than they were. And they ignored scandals on both sides. So it's not like one side was better than the other. But overall, this is just going to be a matchup between the two. So on the West Coast, I Trump would definitely take the West Coast. Looking at the map now, Trump would easily win over the West Coast, but I think that Clinton could have an appeal to more of the women voters. So I think that Trump as a Democratic nominee would do worse than Hillary Clinton did, and there's reasoning behind that. I think that Trump, even though he would have the businessman appeal, I think after 8 years of President Obama, and after 28 years under Democratic rule in the Rust Belt, I think they were tired. I think they would have voted for the Republican, especially if it was Trump. I think they would have. Some of them would have split over to the Republican Party, but I don't think any of the Republican nominees could really win over the Rust Belt unless it's President Trump. Or in this case, I think Hillary Clinton could do it. I think that they could. The women voters would come out and favor her rather than favoring the Democrat like they normally do, because she is a woman candidate, and I do think that the Republican Party will play that card if she was the nominee. Arizona, that one wouldn't be a toss-up in this election. The reason why I'm giving Hillary Clinton all these states is because I do think that the Republican Party will vote down ballot. This is disregarding all of her liberal policies and as if she ran as a conservative her entire life. So it's just going to be a matchup of Hillary Clinton as a Republican, as if she was a Republican her entire life. And I think she would be a shining star of the Republican Party if she was. All the states that were swing states in 2016, I don't really think they would be, especially if Bill Clinton was a Republican and he won all the states that she's winning, then I think that she could easily win the election. Georgia wouldn't be a toss-up because I don't think African American voters would really come out against for President Trump. I don't think he has that appeal. Hillary Clinton had it mainly because of the Obama appeal. I'm not going to touch any of these states over here. Florida, I'm not going to touch. Illinois, I think would go to Trump. The Northeast would go to Trump. I don't think Hillary Clinton would win the state of New York. So this is just like a matchup that would never happen, but I just wanted to see what would have occurred. Okay, but just with Trump's remarks on the Democratic side, if he ran as a Democrat and he made those remarks, the same remarks that he's making now, same remarks that he made in the beginning, I think he would turn off a lot of Democratic voters, which is why I haven't filled in a lot of the states that would normally trend Democratic. So I think that Clinton could take the Rust Belt. The reason behind that is Trump took the Rust Belt, and it was because of a number of factors of Hillary Clinton, but it was also because a number of Republican voters voted for him. Without that Republican base, he wouldn't have won. He would have maybe gotten 2% of the vote instead of 48%, because the Republican base is what he needed to land him the victory there. That Republican base would probably go to Clinton in this scenario. It's a very different scenario, so you can't really base it off a lot of factors that you could base the 2016 general election off of. Looking in North Carolina, I think Clinton could carry that state along with the Latino voters. I don't think they would come out for Trump as a Democrat. Honestly, the things that he said in the beginning, sure, some of them came out for him and voted for him in Florida, but it wasn't like the majority of Latinos supported President Trump. If that occurred, okay, if that occurred with Trump being the Democratic nominee, I don't think they would come out the same way they did for Obama, and I don't think they would land him a victory in Florida. See, the state of Ohio and Iowa, that's the more, I don't, actually, Iowa I'm not going to touch just yet, but Ohio I don't think would flip. I don't think African American voters would come out for a Democratic nominee that is President Trump, but especially with those comments, I think that they would vote Republican down the ballot, and I think Hillary Clinton would be driven in with that wave. I don't think the businessman factor is enough to win over a lot of the voters there. I think that he needed the Republican base, which would go to the Republican nominee regardless of who it was. and then he also needed those voters that turned over away from Obama. And I don't think they would turn over away from Obama if he was running as a Democrat. I think they would go to Hillary Clinton. Um, Iowa, I'm not going to touch just yet, but Minnesota, that one, I think would go to Hillary Clinton. The reasoning behind that is this is disregarding Hillary Clinton's liberal policies. I think that if she ran as a Republican her entire life, she could not only win the Republican base in Minnesota, I think enough Democratic voters, like the Bernie Sanders voters, would be turned off in Minnesota, enough to flip the state for Hillary Clinton. She would win over more women voters than she did as a Democrat. I think she would at least. She would also carry a lot more of the conservative vote than President Trump did because there won't be that disconnect within the Republican Party because this is acting as if she was a Republican and she is the shining star of the Republican Party. This is just a weird scenario, so you can't really, a lot of this is just based off where I think the voter base would go, and I think that Hillary Clinton would do better than Donald Trump did against her in the 2016 general election if she ran as a Republican, just because I think that the Republican wave would have landed her into office better than the Democratic one, especially after 28 years of the Rust Belt being under Democratic presidential control. Things like that. Virginia, I think, will go to Hillary Clinton. They've had a solid red background since, even for Bill Clinton. They only voted for Obama twice, and they voted for Hillary in the general election. I think that she would be able to carry the state of Virginia. This is not factoring any running mate scenarios, like say she chooses Tim Kaine. I'm not factoring any of that in. I'm just doing a one-on-one scenario, and I do think that Hillary Clinton would carry the state of Virginia as a Republican. In the state of New Hampshire, that one, it narrowly went for Clinton in 2016. I don't think Trump's comments would, even though they happened after the election, he did win the primary there for the Republican primary, but I think that she could win more of the vote and win more of the vote than Trump did in 2016. I think she would edge out New Hampshire. As for Iowa, there was a strong showing for Iowa for President Trump. He came within percentage points of winning the Republican primary there. That one's a little too tough because it used to be a solid Democratic state under Obama. It went for Al Gore during Bush's wave election, and it went for Trump during his wave election, and went for Obama during his wave election. So it's pretty much a purple state, but it's been trending more Republican. I think Donald Trump, his businessman appeal really landed him a lot of voters there. Democrats have won the state of Iowa for the past 2 elections, and they were by considerable margins, but compared to Trump, they were nothing. Maybe the 2008 numbers, but in Iowa, Donald Trump was able to carry almost 10% more than Hillary Clinton. And I think that was a lot of the businessman appeal. I think that the scandals really hurt her in this state, but then again, it was also because he was the Republican nominee, and I'm just going to have to give that one to Hillary Clinton. I don't think Trump will be able to peel over a lot of those Bernie Sanders voters and peel off the Democratic base and land them in his column because I don't think he's the guy to do it, especially if Bernie Sanders ran a campaign against him. I don't think Bernie Sanders would be so easy about endorsing him with the things he said in the past, even though they didn't really make an effect in the 2016 election. I think that the Democratic Party would really not be as energized as they were under Bernie or Hillary Clinton. Colorado, I think that one could go to Hillary Clinton, along with New Mexico. The reasoning behind that is I don't really see a pathway for President Trump to win these states, or Citizen Trump at the time. I don't really see a pathway for him to win these states if he's not peeling over a lot of the Bernie base and a lot of the Democratic Party that would be turned off by him. He would pretty much win only the solid Democratic states, and along with that, he would lose Nevada. So this is just and he would win Hawaii, but this is just a weird scenario. So don't get angry about this. This is just a scenario as if Hillary Clinton ran as a Republican with no liberal background whatsoever. She was just a conservative, like the one on Barry Goldwater's campaign. So overall, I think that Hillary Clinton would be able to win the general election as a Republican versus President Trump as a Democrat. This would just be a 2016 general election, so he would be Citizen Trump at the time, but I'm addressing him as president because he is the current president. And he would also win the state, sorry, not the state, he would also win the District of Columbia, putting him at 186 to Clinton's 352. So thank you guys for watching this video, and this was the SurveyMonkey map. If you wanted to make your own, just type in SurveyMonkey electoral map on Google and you can find it. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.